Okay, so this is week 10 for work and industries. This is week 10 for work and industry. It's around restaurant workers, which is familiar to a lot of you who work in restaurants as waitresses and cooks and whatever. So a lot of issues, a lot of pain-related issues, ergonomic-related issues around restaurant workers. We're also going to look at something called pre-placement examinations. Um, Pre-placement examinations are something a lot of OTs are involved with. You may even get into these in your clinicals. I know I did. Um, so let's get into part one, which is all about the pre-placement examinations. Here's your lecture questions. There's a couple based on the pre-placement examinations. What is the testing and questioning in a pre-placement exam focused on? Which aspects of a job? That's a key part. What is a job screening based on? And it gets into the ones around restaurant work. What are pre-placement examinations? It's something that you do on the job after you've been hired, actually, to see if you can do the physical requirements of the job. You may have done this if you ever worked in a hospital or something. You get hired and then you have to do this physical. Usually it's several easy tasks that you have to do to show that you have the physical capabilities to do what you need to do for the job. A lot of cases I like OTs to do this because of our holistic background and our expertise, and we do have an expertise in this around activity analysis, our ability to break down tasks. The bottom line with this, though, is you're really working for the employer, not so much for the client. It's very much what the employer wants you to do, what you screen, and how you determine whether they're fit enough for the job or not fit enough or not. And you're kind of determining through objective means if a person can perform the ADA's definition of the essential functions of the job. The essential functions of the job is the key thing there. Remember what those essential functions are. Tackled this way back in context last spring, I believe. You may have tackled it in other classes. You're just kind of boiling it down to the essence of the job. Can they really do the essence of the job? Do they have the physical capabilities to do the essence of the job or not, kind of stuff. What do you look at to make this determination? The potential employee's prior history and or disability is really irrelevant. You have to kind of go by what they're showing you physically, how they're capable of, and is it a good fit? Can they do what they need to do, to meet the requirements of those essential functions. The OT supervised testing and interviewing. So testing and interviewing. Judge employers are focused on the person's ability to perform those essential functions, cannot ask or test anything beyond that scope. Doesn't matter if they come in a wheelchair or on life support or whatever. You're just testing their physical capabilities to do the particular job that they need to do. Employer must make reasonable accommodations if necessary. We tackled that word reasonable last spring, again in context. It's relatively subjective, vaguish kind of word. What is reasonable from an employee's perspective may not be reasonable from an employee's perspective. Usually comes down to money, how much of an accommodation do you have to make. But the bottom line is for most of these accommodations, that it doesn't take much money at all. It's a low cost kind of thing. I'm not talking building elevators or, whatever to accommodate something that's severely disabled or incapable of doing the essential functions of the job. Physical agility testing is done by the OT in a lot of cases. It's not part of the regular medical exam. It's not part of really your physical. It's done post-job hiring. The employee must demonstrate the physical ability to perform, again, the essential functions of the job. This thing that it's post-job hiring is kind of a legal thing that they do. You're kind of hired, but you're not really hired until you pass both the medical exam and this physical examination, pre-placement examination. There's some examples of it. Usually doing some kind of lifting and carrying, depending on what you have to do. I know with the jobs that I've had as OT jobs, you have to lift a certain amount because of transfers and stuff. It wasn't excessive though. I don't think I had to lift more than 40, 50 pounds and carry it for a while. Turn around and come back, crouching and kneeling, reaching overhead, your range of motion in the shoulders, bending, trunk rotation, basic kind of stuff. Not really that demanding, pretty general usually kind of stuff. A lot of times you're taking, I remember the one I had for when I was a student, I was taking people's pulse rates, see what their heart rate was as they walked and did stairs and stuff. For a job screening to determine grounds for dismissal, it must show direct connection to a job demands, health threat that cannot be reasonably accommodated. So they can't do the job, or it's a threat to them health-wise that's directly related to the job. The job is going to do something to them that's going to put them at a risk health-wise, or they just are not physically capable of doing it. This decision is based on a job description. Again, you're sticking right to the requirements of the job. You're not going beyond that. Activity analysis, job simulation, and then the musculoskeletal physical eval. That's usually what they consist of, and their ability to perform the functional activities or abilities of the particular job. Okay, so that is that part.